Picture this, a perfect summer evening. The grill's sizzling, the laughter's flowing, and then, the dreaded buzzing starts. 1 mosquito. 2. Soon, your backyard feels like a scene from a horror movie, and you're swatting more than you're socializing. Sound familiar? Because for my buddy Alex, last summer was less about backyard bliss and more about insect warfare. He tried everything, from chemical sprays to those obnoxious blue light zappers, but the tiny vampires just kept coming. His frustration? Peak levels. And honestly, who can blame him? Alex, a self-proclaimed tech gadget guy, had just dropped $40 on the latest, most highly rated bug zapper he could find online. It promised to clear his entire yard, silently, efficiently, and with cutting-edge UV technology. Sounded amazing, right? He plugged it in with hopeful anticipation, watching that electric blue glow emanate from its sleek, modern design. Surely, this was the answer. This was the future of pest control. He even bragged to me about it, convinced his mosquito woes were finally over. Oh, Alex, my sweet, naive friend. Bless his heart. 3 nights later, I found Alex slumped on his porch, mosquito bites decorating his arms like constellations. The cutting-edge zapper hummed softly in the background, a lonely blue beacon in the darkness. But the swarm? It was still there, bolder than ever. The zapper had attracted a few moths, maybe a beetle or two, but the mosquitoes? They were throwing a party around the thing, completely unfazed. His $40 investment was now just a very expensive, very blue night light. And Alex? He was ready to burn his house down in frustration. He called me, practically in tears. What do I do? He pleaded. I've tried everything. Sprays, candles, even wearing a hazmat suit to grill. Okay, maybe not the hazmat suit, but you get the picture. He was desperate. And that's when I remembered a conversation from a few weeks prior. My Aunt Carol, bless her heart, a woman who lives life by old ways are the best ways, had mentioned something. Something about a community where modern problems meet, decidedly unmodern solutions. A place where simplicity often outsmarts complexity. That weekend, Alex and I took a drive. Not to the big box store for another gadget, but out to the peaceful countryside, to visit an Amish market Aunt Carol frequented. It was like stepping back in time. No electricity lines, horse-drawn buggies instead of cars, and an air of calm that was frankly a little jarring after Alex's mosquito-fueled rage. We were looking for some fresh produce, maybe some handmade furniture, but what we stumbled upon was something far more valuable. Something that would change Alex's pest control game forever. Amidst baskets of vibrant vegetables and handcrafted quilts, we spotted her. Sarah. An older Amish woman, her face kind, lined with years of hard work and quiet wisdom. She was tending a small stand, not selling produce, but something else. On her table sat a few jars, not for preserves, but filled with a dark, murky liquid. And floating in that liquid? Hundreds, no, thousands of dead flies and, to Alex's shock, mosquitoes. He gawked, a mix of disgust and fascination on his face. This was not what he expected to find. Alex, ever the direct one, immediately pointed. What is that? Sarah chuckled softly, her eyes twinkling. That, young man, is my fly and mosquito catch. Keeps them away from my garden and my kitchen. She explained, in her gentle way, that it was a simple, homemade trap. Doesn't need electricity, doesn't cost much, and it works better than anything store-bought. Alex was utterly skeptical. How could a jar of gunk beat his $40 UV super zapper? His tech bro brain just couldn't compute. But something about Sarah's quiet confidence was undeniable. Sarah then proceeded to tell us how to make one. And Alex nearly dropped his jaw when she started listing the ingredients. A plastic soda bottle, some sugar, water, and yeast. That's it. Total cost? Maybe 50 cents, if you don't already have these things lying around. 50 cents. Compared to Alex's $40 monstrosity, this was ludicrous. My tech-savvy friend was mentally calculating the margin for error. There was no way something this cheap and simple could possibly be effective. He even scoffed a little, until Sarah gave him that look. Sarah looked at Alex, her eyes warm but firm. Sometimes, she said, the Lord gives us simple answers to simple problems. We just forget to look for them, thinking we need something fancy. It was a gentle rebuke, but it hit home. Alex, for all his gadgets and algorithms, was stumped by a plastic bottle and some sugar. He was humbled. We walked away from Sarah's stand that day, not with produce, but with a new mission, to put this humble Amish fly trap to the ultimate test against his high-tech, high-cost bug zapper. Who would win? The future, or tradition? Back at Alex's place, fueled by curiosity and a healthy dose of skepticism, we gathered the ingredients. A 2-liter soda bottle, cut in half. A mixture of warm water, sugar, and a pinch of yeast. The idea was simple: the yeast consumes the sugar, producing carbon dioxide and a sweet, fermented aroma. Both are irresistible to mosquitoes and flies. Alex, usually so meticulous with his assembly of electronics, fumbled with the bottle and tape. He still couldn't believe this was going to work. He kept repeating, "It's just a plastic bottle." Here's how you build it: cut the top third off a plastic soda bottle. In the bottom section, pour about a cup of warm water, add a 1/4 cup of sugar, and then sprinkle in a teaspoon of yeast. No need to stir. Then, invert the top section of the bottle, like a funnel, and place it into the bottom section. Secure it with tape. That's it. The CO2 and sweet smell draw the insects in, and the funnel design makes it almost impossible for them to escape. It's genius in its simplicity. Alex positioned his new, homemade contraption right next to his glowing blue bug zapper. The stage was set. On one side, Alex's pride and joy, the $40, cutting-edge bug zapper, glowing with its promise of bug-free living. On the other, the humble, 50-cent Amish fly trap, a mere plastic bottle, filled with sugary yeast water. The comparison was almost laughable. Alex, still skeptical, leaned back in his patio chair, clutching a can of bug spray just in case. He was ready for a scientific observation, but secretly, he was expecting to prove Sarah wrong. He was convinced technology would prevail. Boy, was he ever wrong. As twilight deepened, the bug zapper hummed its electric tune. A few satisfying zaps echoed through the night. Alex noted them down with a triumphant grin. See? It's working. But after an hour, the zaps became less frequent. And the mosquitoes? They were still out there, though perhaps slightly fewer were near the direct light. The zapper was catching some bugs, mostly moths and larger beetles, but the primary target, those bloodthirsty mosquitoes, seemed to be giving it a wide berth. It was better than nothing, but certainly not the yard clearing Alex had hoped for. Meanwhile, the humble plastic bottle sat silently. No flashy lights, no dramatic zaps. But if you looked closely, you could see them. Small, dark specks spiraling down into the murky liquid. Not just flies, but tiny, unmistakable mosquitoes. Hundreds of them. The fermented smell, initially faint, now wafted subtly, an irresistible beacon to the very pests Alex wanted gone. He peered closer, his triumphant grin slowly fading, replaced by a look of bewildered amazement. The plastic bottle was quietly, relentlessly, doing its job. And it was just getting started. The next morning, Alex gingerly opened the collection tray of his $40 bug zapper. He counted. There were exactly 17 dead insects. A few unfortunate moths, some daddy long legs, and a couple of those annoying midges. But only 3 mosquitoes. 3. After an entire night of cutting-edge UV technology. Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. His backyard was still buzzing. His investment had yielded a paltry return. It was a disheartening sight, a monument to a promise unfulfilled. His tech guy pride was officially wounded. Then, with a hesitant hand, Alex picked up the humble Amish flytrap. He looked into the murky depths. His eyes widened. He grabbed his phone and started recording. The bottle was absolutely teeming with dead insects. He carefully poured the contents into a strainer. The count was staggering. Not dozens, but hundreds upon hundreds of mosquitoes, along with a significant number of flies. It was a massacre. The cheap, simple, 50-cent trap had obliterated its high-tech rival. Alex was speechless. His skepticism had completely evaporated, replaced by genuine shock and awe. The numbers spoke for themselves. Alex's $40 bug zapper killed a measly 3 mosquitoes. The 50-cent Amish flytrap killed over 500. This wasn't a competition, it was an absolute domination. Alex stared at the two devices, one glowing proudly but empty, the other unassuming but lethally effective. It was a stark reminder that sometimes, the simplest solutions are truly the best. No electricity, no harsh chemicals, no constant zaps. Just pure, unadulterated, mosquito-killing power. His jaw was on the floor, and frankly, so was mine. So, why did this simple Amish trap utterly annihilate the fancy bug zapper? It all comes down to science, specifically, what mosquitoes are actually attracted to. Bug zappers use UV light, which does attract some insects, like moths. But mosquitoes? They're primarily drawn to the carbon dioxide we exhale, and body heat. The yeast and sugar in the Amish trap create a steady, low-level stream of CO2, mimicking a breathing animal. It's an irresistible signal to those bloodsuckers. It's like a giant, flashing neon sign saying, "Dinner is served." And here's the kicker, not only do bug zappers attract the wrong insects, they can actually make your mosquito problem worse. Studies show that bug zappers often kill beneficial insects, like moths and beetles, which are natural predators of other pests or vital pollinators. Meanwhile, they're ineffective against mosquitoes, so you're just removing the natural balance and leaving more room for the bloodsuckers to thrive. It's an ecological blunder. Those satisfying zaps. Mostly harmless insects meeting an untimely, useless end. What a waste. The Amish trap, on the other hand, is specifically designed to target flying insects attracted to fermentation byproducts. The sugar and yeast create a powerful, localized attractant that is far more effective for mosquitoes and houseflies than broad-spectrum UV light. Once they fly in, they can't figure out how to fly back up the inverted funnel. They get stuck, fall into the liquid, and that's the end of their buzzing, biting careers. It's precise, it's effective, and it costs virtually nothing. It's the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it pest solution. Alex, now a true believer, couldn't stop talking about it. I spent $40 on a glorified moth killer when I could have just used a soda bottle and some sugar. Sarah was right. He finally understood that sometimes, the most sophisticated problems have shockingly simple, yet profoundly effective, answers. His backyard, once a war zone, was now genuinely enjoyable again. He even started making a second trap for his front porch. This simple Amish trick hadn't just cleared his yard, it had completely changed his perspective on problem solving. Let's break down the sheer financial insanity of this. On one side, Alex's initial investment, $40 for the zapper, plus the ongoing electricity costs, however small. On the other side, the Amish trap, a repurposed plastic bottle, free, a tablespoon of sugar, pennies, and a pinch of yeast, also pennies. We're talking about a maximum of 50 cents per trap, and it lasts for weeks before needing a refill. The cost-to-effectiveness ratio is so skewed, it's almost comical. Who knew sustainable pest control could be this wallet-friendly? Beyond the cost, consider the environmental impact. Those high-tech zappers contribute to light pollution and kill indiscriminately, often harming beneficial insects that are crucial for our ecosystem. They're also made from plastics and electronics that eventually end up in landfills. The Amish trap, however, reuses a plastic bottle, uses biodegradable ingredients, and specifically targets the nuisance pests without harming pollinators. It's a win for your wallet and a huge win for Mother Earth. Sustainable, effective, and ethical pest control? Yes, please. Now that you're convinced, where should you place these magical traps for maximum effect? Place them strategically around your outdoor living areas. Not directly where you're sitting, as they're meant to attract the bugs. Think perimeter defense, near bushes, around the edge of your patio, or even near a stagnant water source if you have one, but really, eliminate stagnant water if you can. Place them in shaded areas, as direct sunlight can slow down the fermentation process. For best results, replace the liquid every 1 to 2 weeks, or when it looks visibly full of deceased insects. While our focus has been on mosquitoes, don't underestimate this trap's effectiveness against other flying pests. Houseflies, fruit flies, gnats, they're all attracted to the CO2 and fermented scent. This means you can use these traps indoors, away from food prep areas, to catch those annoying fruit flies that seem to appear out of nowhere. Just be sure to place them where they won't be easily knocked over, and consider using a smaller bottle for indoor use. Imagine a kitchen free of buzzing pests, all thanks to a simple, homemade solution. One important note: while incredibly effective, these traps are not a magic bullet that will instantly clear every single mosquito from your property. They are a highly effective tool in a comprehensive pest management strategy. Continue to eliminate standing water sources, keep your yard tidy, and use personal repellents when necessary. But as a primary defense line against flying pests, especially those pesky mosquitoes, this Amish trap is an absolute game changer. It's about working smarter, not harder, against nature's nuisances. Alex, now a fervent advocate for simple, effective solutions, often thinks of Sarah. Her quiet wisdom, her unassuming confidence in age-old methods. It's a powerful lesson in an age of constant innovation and consumerism. We're often convinced that newer, flashier, more expensive equals better. But sometimes, the answers we need are right in front of us, passed down through generations, waiting for us to rediscover them. And this Amish fly trap is a shining example of that enduring truth. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your incredible secret. So, are you ready to ditch those useless, expensive bug zappers? Are you ready to reclaim your backyard, your patio, your peace of mind, all for less than the cost of a gumball? Then gather your supplies. A plastic bottle, some sugar, water, and yeast. You're just minutes away from building the most effective, cheapest, and most environmentally friendly mosquito and fly trap you've ever seen. Don't let another summer evening be ruined by buzzing pests. Take back control, the Amish way. It's an easy win, and your wallet will absolutely love it. Think about all the money wasted on products that don't deliver. The citronella candles that just smell nice, the sonic repellents that do nothing, the sprays full of harsh chemicals. And yes, those fancy bug zappers that only kill the good guys. It's time to stop falling for marketing hype and start trusting in proven, common-sense solutions. This isn't just about saving money, it's about smart living, understanding how nature works, and taking control back from the billion-dollar pest control industry. Your summer deserves better than a constant battle.